righty, all righty. How you
What's
doing,
up?
my man? How you feeling? You feeling good?
I'm good. How are you? Big week coming. Big week.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, my morning's already started fantastic. We got floor seats for Metallica in Montreal in August.
Oh man,
Are you a
that's gonna
Metallica
be
guy?
good.
Are you a Metallica guy?
They were not my favorite band, but several other bands in that sort of genre I was into. Motley Crue,
Okay.
Poison, those kinds of guys. So I appreciate going. I went to a different, but I went to a Smashing Pumpkins concert
Love 'em.
recently. So love a good
Yeah,
concert.
love Smashing Pumpkins. I've seen them several times. I actually did a Q&A with Billy over here in Fort Lauderdale. In a smaller place where it was like only like 150 of us, and we got to do like a Q&A with him, and then at the end he gave us a signed poster and all that, and I was able to go with my daughter, who's a monster Smashing Pumpkins fan. She loves it.
Nice.
So it was actually cool. But Metallica is doing something where they play, you buy tickets for 2 nights, and both nights are two completely different sets.
Oh,
So
that's cool.
yeah, yeah, that's
Nice.
really cool. And then on top of that, you see different opening acts too, two different opening acts every night. So that's another thing
That's
that's
fun.
actually
That'll be
really,
great.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm going for tickets, Metallica in Mexico City for 2024, but that'll be in the 11 a.m. hour when we go from. So if you hear a loud scream from South Florida, I got
That's
the
you.
floor seat.
Got it.
I got
Okay.
the floor seats in Mexico City. All right, so you gave all of the Dolphin Nation a bit of a sigh. They were able to exhale a little bit because we have now figured out there are three irreplaceable people on the Miami Dolphins: Mike McDaniel, Tua Tagovailoa, and Terron Armstead.
Yep.
Okay. They've gotten by without Byron Jones. They've gotten by without Brandon Jones. They've gotten by without Nick Needham, three of their top corners. And X has actually played with not one, but two growing injuries throughout the year. So that entire secondary outside of the free safety has been injury riddled. And now, but they've gotten by with it. You know, I think Boyer's done an excellent job with
Yeah.
all those injuries. But the Terron Armstead one is a domino that affects everything. So you said it was a strain. What more have you been able to unearth? What can we expect? Do we know what kind of a timetable at all?
Grade 2 strain is what we were told. So not a full tear, but a partial tear, which is basically what a strain is. Yeah, I mean, he's pretty important. And I think for Teron Armstead, when you sign someone like this to a lot of money, you get a couple things. You get a great player, you get a really, 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 really good person for those who know him. He's an awesome dude. And you get someone who's been banged up. So that's the bad side. He's been banged up for most of his career. He is always playing through injuries, but he always plays through injuries. So that's kind of the other side of it. So this is what you get. It's never going to be perfect, but he is a rock star of a person who will always try to be on the field. So I think he's going to miss some time. I don't think it's going to be a lot of time. And I think for the stretch run and the playoffs, probably late December, this is a guy who will be out there. So I do expect him back. Could have been a lot worse. Really, overall, pretty decent outcome for the Dolphins.
So you think he'll miss? It seems like he's going to miss this 3-game stretch here. Is what you're saying?
I mean, I don't know that for sure, but generally, if you have a strain and you have to rehab it, which you probably will have to do, you miss a couple weeks and then you eventually come back. So, I don't know about this specifically, but generally these are like, a 3 to 4 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks, something like that.
What do you know about Byron Jones, bro? What the hell do you know about Byron Jones? Because that, from what I've been hearing, is he's had all kinds of setbacks. And, it just seems like he's doing business with the Dolphins and kind of getting prepared for the offseason, because I'm sure the Dolphins are going to cut him when it's all said and done. This is the window for them to cut him this offseason. He and his agent
Right.
probably know it. But what the hell is going on with Byron Jones? Because this was something that he was supposed to play at the beginning of the year, and yet I've heard there's been all kinds of different setbacks, and that's why he hasn't been able to take the field.
First of all, from what I understand, he wants to play, is trying to play, would love to be cleared, and if he's cleared, would play. So I don't think this is something where he and his agent are kind of playing out the string, because I don't think it does him any good, honestly. The only way to increase his value is to literally play And if he didn't play at all if he does not play at all this year, then the Dolphins probably do cut him. And then what's his market going to be? He's already made a lot of money. I don't think he's going to cash in big time this offseason after missing the entire year. So I don't think it's a money play. I just think rehab is hard, and come back from an injury is hard, and you have setbacks. And, after every surgery, it's always like, oh, another successful surgery. Sometimes it's hard. Sometimes they are not successful. So I just know he wants to be back, and there's been a lot of different hurdles along the way.
All right. So you tell me, what kind of relationship do these guys have?
I woke up like at 3, like we went to sleep. So I was thinking about when you randomly hit me up that you're YouTubing me. Yeah. And so then I YouTubed you and saw this Trent Dilfer thing showing all.
Really? It's going to get stuck now.
We'll never know. We will never know.
I mean, this is ridiculous. How does it
high school from you? And bro, your technique was trash. You know what I mean? Thank God for Bev. What are you talking about? No rhythm, no timing? It was cool though because you could see little elements of like your swag. You were stressed out. Woo! I woke up.
There you go.
3.
Anyway, so I mean, it's just it's pretty cool to see the relationship, because that tells you it's not just a regular coach-player relationship. It's one where the borders have been torn down and the honesty can be exchanged, and the acceptance of all of that. You're using it as a positive, and Tua is smart enough to use it as a positive and not an insult.
Well, right. And, this is the only way it should work, right? Is like, it's like being in a marriage, it's like, if you are afraid of offending your husband or wife, then you have some issues, because really, you live with each other. You're there every second of the day. If you're really like, oh, I want to say this because it's the truth, but he or she's going to be upset, like, it's kind of a bad place to be. Same thing with coach and quarterback. Like, you have to be able to say, like, hey, this was a bad read and you made this because you didn't do this, or your techniques got a little bad and you need to improve this. Like, there's things that you have to be able to say. And one of the reasons, well, I think there's a lot of reasons that Mike is a good coach and going to be a good coach. And one of the reasons is he just says what he thinks. And he says it in kind of a easy, relaxed, matter-of-fact way where it's hard to really get upset. Like, even if they didn't have a good relationship, like, how could Tua have been upset with that interaction? It was kind of funny. It was lighthearted. Right. He's not saying that he's bad now, but he's saying that then he was kind of trash. Mike just has a knack for saying what he thinks and being able to deliver that news. And it's a really cool affect for a coach.
And by the way, so fans can listen here, and there's a lot of experience between you and me in locker rooms with people. I'm sure there's well over I'm completing my 33rd year. What year is it for you now?
At the NFL Network, this is my 11th, I believe.
No, overall in the biz.
Oh, geez. I started covering the NFL in 2009.
Okay. So
I started covering Alabama. I started covering Mississippi State in 2004. How many years is that? 18? It's a lot of years.
All right. So you'll confirm this with me. 99% of the players, because you always have the 1% that are flakes and, whatever. That's life. That's, but 99% of the players want brutal honesty. They want to know what pisses off players more than anything else is the coach that tells them one thing, does another.
Or just like they just want to know, like, where do I stand? I think is of all the things with players, like, I've never had a player upset at being benched if he knows, like, hey, look, here are you and this other person doing the same exact thing. He's better than you here. Here's why he's playing and you're not. Like, what are you gonna do? It's on. Football has no secrets. It's all on tape. Anyway, go ahead.
Right.
Sorry.
No, you're 1,000%. I want you to elaborate on it because it's something that people sometimes don't realize. They think that, most coaches have to pussyfoot around, and that's just not the case. Most coaches will tell the players, and most players want to hear exactly what is wrong. What did I do wrong? What did I do right? All those kind of things. And I think that's incredibly important. The inconsistent coaches are the ones that end up driving people absolutely crazy. All right. So we went over the Armstead injury and all of that. And I got to tell you something, Ian. Life is good here, not just because I got Metallica tickets and maybe another pair coming up, but they got flexed now. So the Chargers game went from 4:05 to 8:20 now. So the Sunday night game, which is a pain in the ass for me because I got to do post game, but that's all right. It's, you got to take the bad with the good. But we haven't been a lot of sexy here. There was some sexiness with Jason Taylor and Zach Thomas and Sam Madison and Pat Surtain and all that. There's a little sexiness with Ricky Williams and all that. But all of a sudden now, the Dolphins are extremely sexy, right? I mean, that's really what's become now because they've got the quarterback, something they haven't had since Marino. That passing game is what people want to see on television right now.
Well, yeah, and the decisions to make something prime time is not always a linear decision. A lot of times it takes into account a lot of things. This one to me is easy. This will be fun to watch. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and it's two quarterbacks right bang bang right after each other. That decision was interesting. The career arc has been interesting with Justin Herbert, an immediate star, and Tua was at the scrap heap, and then now he's clearly a star. And there's a lot there. But just from it's going to be awesome to watch standpoint, I'm pretty happy they did this because I love watching the Chargers anyway. Really like watching the Dolphins, especially lately. It could be a high-scoring game. It could be a game where both teams try to run the ball to keep the other quarterback off the field. It could be one where it's a low-scoring game, but every pass at the end is really important. I don't know how it's going to sort of pan out, but I know it's going to be fun to watch. And I was just very selfishly, I was very happy to see that decision.
Oh, so are we, by the way. We're also very happy to see that decision because it's nice to put them on prime time, and I think the players, it adds a little oomph to that game.
Right.
And by the way, the sexiness doesn't end, right? Because there's a TBD for the Buffalo game, and if the Jets keep running into backup quarterbacks, then they'll keep padding that schedule, and maybe the last week of the season's also TBD. So the Dolphins could be also on a couple of other primetime opportunities, right?
Which, I don't know what's going to happen with the MVP race. I'm sure it'll be Mahomes. That's probably what everyone's talking about.
Yeah.
But if Tua is really going to make a run at this thing, being on primetime, actually helps. Remember, these are, writers. These are people, experts. These are 50 of them, I believe, with the AP. And they're human beings, so they are impressed by things that they see. If they're on a lot and Tua does good things on national TV, I would say that really matters.
I'm with you. And by the way, I want to thank the Denver Broncos on behalf of the entire Dolphin Nation for their decision to sign Russell Wilson because it's been an outright disaster. And I'm sure that the Chiefs are a little pissed off because they got knocked out of a primetime game because of their opponent overall.
They're on primetime all the time, but yeah.
I know. I'm just having some fun, but this is what's going to lead me to, brother, how bad is it in Denver? We're watching, Purcell, I think it was a defensive player, scream into Russell Wilson's face.
I saw that.
Nathaniel Hackett, is he going to survive this? Is this a Cam Cameron situation all over again, a 1 year and one and done? What the hell is going on in Denver? Because it's not getting pretty for Russell Wilson with this contract.
They're really bad. They are really bad. They're a bad football team. And it sucks, too, because, I like Nathaniel Hackett a lot. I think he's a really good offensive coordinator. The Packers miss him, too. So if he ended up getting fired and going back, that would make some sense. It just sucks. And I think everyone made the decision they felt was best, and nothing has worked. So sometimes that happens, unfortunately. Do the right things, everything's bad. I don't know what's going to happen there, but I know they'll evaluate at the end of the season. And, they've been really hard to watch because, there's not a lot of teams. Like, there's some teams with bad records, but there's not a lot of teams that look bad all the time. And the Dolphins, the Broncos look bad all the time. Russell Wilson looks like just a below average quarterback, and I don't understand how. Seriously, cannot believe it. But yeah, it's pretty incredible.
What do they do with Russell Wilson? Like,
you get it if you're going to make a coaching change, you get a coach that will fix him, or that will utilize his strengths. Or, I mean, he's been a good quarterback. He still has skills. So if that's the case, if he still could throw like he did, maybe he's willing to run a little more. I don't know, but you can fix him. You just have to hire the right coach to do it, and we'll see who that ends up being.
Well, if Nathaniel Hackett gets fired and goes back to Green Bay, will he be even coaching Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, I mean, I see almost no way that Aaron Rodgers doesn't come back next year. Like, he's under contract. It's a massive cap hit. You know, my understanding was it was like a 2 to 3 year commitment he gave to them when they gave him that huge contract. So I don't see a scenario where he doesn't come back and be quarterback of the Packers.
Does Tom Brady come back?
Well, that I was always told that, you know, Brady was expected to retire at the end of this year. I'm not sure if his personal family situation has affected that, but it's been kind of an up and down season. It's been a tumultuous season personally, obviously. I'll stick by what I said earlier, which is that the expectation is this is his final season.
Yeah, I just wonder with the divorce now, and, you know, his other love is football. You just wonder if, you know, he's probably going to try to give it another go for one more year, since he doesn't have the other commitment, you know, overall. So it's just, it's kind of interesting. All right, what's going to happen with Odell? Because looks like Jerry is still gung-ho about signing the airplane violator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what happened on that airplane. That was a pretty weird story, honestly. It was either a guy trying to sleep and everybody bothering him, or someone who wouldn't put his seatbelt on, or he tried to put his seatbelt
part
on.
Right there, that's the part I have the problem. I don't know what else happened with all of this. Put your seatbelt on, bro. Come on, let's go.
I mean, the way he says it, he said, "I'll put my seatbelt on." They say it's too late. We're taking you back to the gate. Like, you know, I wasn't there. The story's weird. I don't know. You know, they described him being in and out of consciousness. That's also described as sleeping. So I don't know what that was, honestly. But anyway,
in my book, he has zero credibility. So that's the problem with Odell Beckham. If you had any credibility, then maybe I could believe you. But, you know,
I don't know that he has no credibility. I mean, he's been a free agent. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So he's got the Giants. He's got the Giants on Thursday, Friday. Then, according to Von Miller, he's got the Bills, and he's got the Cowboys next week. And then we'll see. It's going to be fascinating. We've spent a lot of time talking about it. It's been kind of fun. It's been a great random free agent to have during the season. I'm looking forward to seeing when and where he signs.
Just off the beaten path, Trent Dilfer to UAB?
Saw that. I think he's a really good coach. I don't know if he'll be a good college coach, but he's a good high school coach. He's a really smart football man. It's kind of an out-of-the-box hire, but interesting. And at least, you know, unlike the Jeff Saturday thing, at least he has a pedigree where you're like, this guy has been a good coach on a significant level. Like, maybe it works.
He has a passion for young kids, obviously. So maybe this is something for him, and this is the kind of level you want to start off at. You know, you don't want to be put in Auburn or somewhere like that. UAB, that's kind of like the kind of level you want to get in if you're a Trent Dilfer. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, me too.
All right, what do you got going on in the NFL Network this week, my man?
Back at a regular week, no vacations, all Sunday morning, lots of good games. So we still got some things to figure out, so we'll see.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Rap Sheet and catch his work there at the NFL Network. Ian, as always, my friend, thank you. We will catch up next week.
I look forward to it, man. Take care.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Ian Rapoport. That is our Red Recover look around the NFL. We tell you about Red Recover all the time. Stop living with pain. Stop dealing with pain. if you're dealing with soreness from an old injury, an old surgery, and you just grind away every day and you think there's no way out and you're taking all kinds of drugs, man, let's go natural. Let's go red light therapy. And this has been around for a while, and redrecover.com has really mastered it with all kinds of wraps on all parts of your body. Doesn't matter if it's a shoulder, an elbow, back, neck, you name it, knees, ankles, the bottom of your feet if you stand a lot, all these kind of things. They're great to optimize for your workouts before and after your workouts. It's fantastic if you've got an old injury or an old surgery and you've got some pain and discomfort. It will help you throughout the day. 15 minutes, that's all it takes. Helps you grow your hair too. We've got the hat. I mean, all kinds of things. Go to redrecover.com. Use our code Big O. You will get 10% off. The wraps are already incredibly affordable. But then you get 10% off on top of all of that by using our code Big O. When you go to the website, redrecover.com, I want you to also check out some of the video blogs. Hayden Hurst, by the way, tight end for the Bengals. He uses Red Recover all the time before and after his workouts. My wife uses it for her feet, for her shoulder. I use it for my right shoulder, and my right shoulder feels a hell of a lot better now that I use it every day for 15 minutes. I'm telling you, Sean uses it for one of his knees. It's just bone on bone. And it's not going to alleviate bone on bone because nothing alleviates bone on bone, but it alleviates the soreness and it gets the blood flow going in that area. So that way, you know, for Sean, that knee doesn't bother him nearly as much. And that in itself is relief. That's what you're looking for, relief. You're looking to maximize your day, your workouts. Go to redrecover.com and use our code Big O. I promise you it will make a difference.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.